A blunt assessment today from former Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats on the importance of public trust in our elections and the threat its absence presents to our democracy. It's perhaps the strongest public rebuke yet of Donald Trump and Donald Trump's politics from his own former spy chief. And it was done without mentioning the president by name. Coates writes in today's New York Times, quote, "Our democracy's enemies, foreign and domestic, want us to concede in advance that our voting systems are faulty or fraudulent, that sinister conspiracies have distorted the political will of the people, that our public discourse has been perverted by the news media and social networks riddled with prejudice, lies, and ill will, that judicial institutions, law enforcement, and even national security have been twisted, misused, and misdirected to create anxiety and conflict, not justice and social peace. If those are the results of this tumultuous election year, we are lost, no matter which candidate wins." Joining our conversation, former CIA Director John Brennan and New York Times Washington correspondent Mike Schmidt. Director Brennan, every single one of the threats that he details to democracy are behaviors that Donald Trump engages in. Is that intentional?
Well, I have deep respect and admiration for Senator Coates, who's a man of great integrity as well as honesty. And he clearly sees the threat that we face collectively to our democratic experiment, as he says. And I must say, Nicole, after listening to the public statements of Donald Trump and William Barr, especially over the last several days, I am more worried today than I ever have been before in the health and stability of our government and our country. Clearly, Donald Trump, as we all know, is an unethical, unprincipled, corrupt individual who will do anything to advance his own interests. William Barr is a far right-wing ideologue who is exploiting the powers of the Attorney General to advance his interests, his agenda, and using Donald Trump as a way to protect what he's doing. And when I look at then the Republicans in the Senate, the Senators McConnell and Johnson and Graham and others, they just are allowing this trampling of our democratic institutions. And I've seen this happen in countries overseas when an authoritarian leader is able to exploit the environment. And we are now on the cusp of a very, very difficult period when we approach this election. And I just get more and more worried each day.
You and I have been having these conversations for years. I've never heard you describe yourself as more worried. Tell me how you see this playing out if everyone continues on their current path. I should add that Donald Trump today tweeted that because of new and unprecedented massive amount of unsolicited ballots, which will be sent to voters, this year the November 3rd election result may never be accurately determined. I think Twitter did something little, something late to say that wasn't true. But as you and I both know, Director Brennan, his lies make their way around the world several times before any of our inadequate fact checks get half as far.
Well, Nicole, you and I have worked in the White House for different presidents, and we understand the tremendous powers that a chief executive, a president has, as well as the tremendous capabilities and powers of an attorney general. And if they exert those powers in a corrupt and craven way, they are able to manipulate the environment that we're in right now. And I'm very concerned about what we're going to see in addition in the future in terms of harnessing those capabilities within the executive branch and then allowing the Republicans in the Senate to allow them to continue to provide them protection and defense. And so, when I look out over the next 50 days, the different types of things that Donald Trump and William Barr can do, they clearly are not going to stop this political dishonesty in terms of trying to misinform the American public, as well as possibly exert their authorities in a way that will manifest themselves on our streets, at the election polling booths, and wherever. So again, I think this is something that all Americans need to be very concerned about.
Director, Ron Johnson's committee, which Mitt Romney described yesterday as a political undertaking, has subpoenaed you or has put in motion steps to subpoena you. Would you testify if they called you?
I welcome the opportunity to testify publicly in front of Johnson's committee, in front of Graham's committees. They don't have let me correct that. They don't have the interest in calling me up in front of their committee and to testify publicly in front of the American people.
I think I heard what you almost said.
Almost said, yes. But it's clear that this is a hyper-partisan, politically corrupt effort to try to create an environment prior to the election that casts Donald Trump in a positive light and Joe Biden in a negative light. And I am happy to talk to them just the way I spoke to John Durham at the Department of Justice or any other committee on the Hill.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.